want your body with you. What the fuck is up
with you?
What's like that?
What the fuck is up? Here we are.
We are here. I am Austin Trevor Monroe at austinmonroe.biz.
And I am Jamila Reddy at Black Auntie Supreme. That's AUNTIE Supreme.
So,
and this is What the Fuck is Up?
This is What the Fuck is Up.
This is like our beta. I don't actually know if beta is the right. I
This
keep
is like
saying beta, but I
North
don't know.
York, What the Fuck is Up test run.
Test run is a good word.
You know, intro.
I'm going to get my bubbles.
To see what the fuck is up with doing a visual podcast.
Yeah.
You got a little sparkling water. It's hot out here.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Know yourself, know your worth.
So, girl, what the fuck has been up with you this week?
Oh, this week has been potentially the worst. Potentially the worst time of my life. Oh, cars passing. That's okay.
That's fine.
This week has been really difficult and challenging. Lots of stuff going on at the home front. Personal life stuff happening. And literally said nothing of actual substance.
I feel you though.
But I'm just trying to figure out what is the... I need to just honor some boundaries around the information that I'm disclosing without permission from people. So consent is cute, so I don't want to say too much. Just know that this week has been difficult. I feel like the planets are doing some things. It's been hard.
Yeah.
But I'm doing all the things I need to do to be great. I'm honoring my rituals, my routines. I'm drinking water, I'm eating vegetables.
Cool.
Taking naps. Doing this.
Okay.
What the fuck is up with you?
This week has also been maybe the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing the exact opposite of what I need to be great.
Why though?
I realized that I've been wilding the fuck out because it's a little escapist moment.
Okay.
But I'm conscious of that.
Okay.
So I'm all right, girl.
Yeah, I feel like you have been saying that you've been doing the most for a good few months.
It's been 5 weeks.
Okay.
So
who's counting?
I've been it's summer, but summer's almost over. So I'm all right.
Right.
Cool.
Well, what do you need to do to be great that you're not doing?
Just I need to clean out my room. I need to figure out what I want to be doing, and this is a good start. Take my creative
yes
projects seriously and make them fucking happen. So
yes.
That's step one. It feels good to be out here, although I'm sweating profusely. It's humid.
You don't look it though.
Thank you. I look dewy.
Dewy's good.
So that's been what the fuck is up.
Yeah, that is indeed. Yeah. What the fuck is up in the world?
Wow.
On the planet and beyond.
Should we start good?
Let's start good.
Let's start with Rihanna's turquoise wig.
Okay.
That on anyone else would look like a fucking shake and go $20 beauty supply store moment.
Wait.
Iconic on her.
It looked amazing on her. There was some fat shaming happening.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
There were memes. People were there was, those dolls.
Okay. It's already awful.
They're Cabbage Patch dolls that are soft.
I know.
Cabbage Patch dolls, they're stuffed with cotton.
I'm not deep on doll Twitter, so
Okay.
I don't know them.
Okay. Yeah, so there was some fat shaming going on, which ugh.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, right. Okay, so but Rihanna did look like a snatch.
She looked thick. She looked like a fucking meal.
She did look like a meal, like an entree.
Excellent.
And a two-piece.
Whatever.
Two-piece entree with a side. Yeah, she looked great.
It's fucking cool.
Should we go to this thing, or is that problematic? Can we go next year? What is it? Crop over?
Maybe so.
Are we invited?
I feel diaspora shit is all for me, but that might not be true.
Okay.
So, comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, diaspora shit is all.
At me and let me know the tea.
Yeah. I did see something the other day on Facebook that was Black people stop appropriating African, or Black Americans stop appropriating African stuff, and I was like, okay. I didn't read it.
I mean, I feel like it's like intellectually lazy and dishonest. Drag me if I need to be drugged, but like, mama, we're not gonna do that. What are we supposed to do? Like, what do we have?
What do we have?
But yeah, let us know, girl. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, would love to. I have literal dreams about being Rihanna's best friend.
Same.
We hang out.
We need to start a podcast campaign. Y'all need to add Rihanna and be like, listen, it would be everything if you come sit on this porch with Jamila and Austin and like shoot the shit.
I know. Yes, you can have whatever you need.
Yeah.
Okay. The other good is Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Yeah. What'd she do this week?
She been posting thicky like pictures of her in like roller skates and cute outfits, just looking good.
She always.
She's living for this new body.
What? Is it really new?
It's new.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes! I saw the video. It was like a montage. I let it loop. I was like, Beyonce. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. I'm interested to see how her music changes after having 3 kids.
Same.
You know, like I don't know that I know of any other like big pop stars like that have that many kids that they're so, you know, like.
She gonna be making.
I don't know.
Straight like brown liquor, like Tom Joyner 2-step music. It's coming, grown and sexy.
Really?
Yeah.
You really think so?
Oh yeah.
That she'll be making Tom Joyner.
Not at all.
Okay. Okay. And then we've got. That's what I got.
I think that's the only good shit that happened this week, honestly. Because white people have been acting a fucking fool.
I will offer that the Poor People's Campaign kicked off this week. That's like a thing that y'all might not know about.
Put us on game.
Poor People's Campaign is a campaign that was started by Martin Luther King, and it's being revived by Bishop Barber. And it's like a huge. The hope is that it's a national grassroots effort to end poverty.
Okay.
That is led by poor people. So I feel like that's worthy of noting.
Of course.
Someone did drag me by dragging someone else, but they didn't know they were dragging me. You know when that happens when someone's like, "Don't you hate when?"
And you're like, "Yeah, I do."
This person was saying that people are always like talking about how there's nothing going on. Like people, you know, they'll make sweeping statements about the state of like social investment of young folks. Like, oh, people just don't care anymore. And they're like, yeah, or like your dumbass just showed yourself because it just illustrates that you don't know all the hard work that people are doing towards these movements. So like, don't say that nothing is going on just because you don't know. So I will offer that the Poor People's Campaign started this week. Shout out to them. Really and truly love to know. This is making me realize that I need to know more about what dope things are going on in the world. Like we don't.
Sam.
Where's the good news?
Where is the good news? But I think we've been doing that. We've been like down with like a lot of like different like community events and like creative spaces and shit going on,
true.
Which is new for me at least.
New.
I was very much like, I don't know, like working and
right.
partying, and that was exclusively it instead of like participating in like cool shit.
True.
Still working on partying though.
All right, so where do we even begin?
So Donald Trump is about to get us all blown the fuck up.
I gotta hydrate on that one.
You know? Shout out to the sponsor, by the way. If anyone would like to sponsor our work, Deer Park, we're giving you mad press right now.
It's true.
So, I don't know, you know.
You gotta laugh to keep from crying, honestly.
Yeah.
Because...
He's a wild boy. He's unhinged.
I mean, I feel sometimes just truly and utterly speechless because there's a part of me that feels like talking about it makes it more real for me. In that I have to like deal with the gravity of like what is actually happening. So I'm just gonna be forthcoming about that. It's like hard for me to check in with Donald Trump and like what sort of foolishness. It's just like it exhausts me.
Yeah, I've just been like completely like.
I'm like, yeah, it's like constant. It's like, oh, Donald Trump said that like trans folks can't. I'm like, okay, okay, it's some nonsense and fucking foolery, and I don't need to know any more of it because it's like not real. But I recognize that is a potentially dangerous. No, that is a dangerous way to respond. It's not potentially dangerous. I mean,
there has to be that balance of like am I directly affected by like his trans people shit, which is no, which is like a privilege for me to be able to be like, I don't want to talk about it. But you also do have to like mentally protect yourself and like you can't keep up with every piece of thing this man does or says because it'll.
But that's the thing. It's like, how do you
drive you crazy?
If you, it's like I feel like I almost there's a piece of lacking of agency. You know, it's like when you go on Twitter or Facebook, you don't have a choice about whether or not you're going to see I mean, you do have a choice, but it's like it comes up on the timeline and then it's there.
Sure.
You know, so it's like to an extent, it's like, no, I'm not going to click on every single article or watch every video or whatever, but it's kind of like.
But you're like, at least you're aware. You know, as much as you can be.
You know, yeah, right.
No.
So yeah, nuclear weapons, dark. Dark. I'm reminded to lean into my Buddhist practice when I hear things like that because I feel like a little sense of hopelessness. Like, what am I supposed to do about nuclear weapons? Mm-hmm. And then you remember that like nuclear weapons are created by humans.
Sure.
You know, like that is a physical manifestation of like the human mind and spirit. So what I can do towards that end is like make sure that my shit is like peaceful and doing as little harm as possible.
Yeah. How do you combat the fact that it feels like my enemies are in power, all my friends are dead? You know what I mean? Like, all the fucking worst people have like all this like access and power. So it's like, I'm trying to balance like, you know, being loving and compassionate and whatever in my personal life with the fact that like, there's some like really like sick ass motherfuckers with like real tangible power to like fuck people's lives up. You know what I mean?
What do you mean tangible power? Like resources, literally like weapons.
Literally resources,
okay.
Yeah. Weapons,
yeah.
Armies, police forces, governments, like whatever the fuck.
Bless you.
Amen.
That's me on the beat.
Allergy season, okay. It's allergy season all year round here, girl.
It really is. Yeah, how do I mean...
I'm sweating so much.
Why? Girl, drink some water.
I have been. That's why I'm sweating, though. You don't sweat if you're not hydrated.
Uh-oh. Try could be.
No, I wasn't trying to. Maybe I need to drink more water.
Maybe I do need to drink more water. I feel like I combat that I respond to that by recognizing that, like, ultimately white supremacy seeks to make you feel disempowered. You know, like, that is a function of white supremacy, is for you to feel like the resources that you have don't stand up against these tangible resources, you know?
Drag me back. True.
You know, like, that's a function of white supremacy, is to make you believe that your resources aren't as powerful.
That is tea.
But, like, at the end of this day, like, our ancestors have been, like, healing themselves, like, with the ground. You know, like, we actually do have abundant resources, but we're made to believe that we don't.
And that they're not valid.
Well, and also, like, this is pushback from the Obama administration of, like, hope. You know what I mean? Like, they thought we could have hope, but, like, actually, I'm glad you spent 8 years having hope, and that, you know, like, this is a tactic.
Sure.
To make people, hopelessness is a tactic.
Sure.
Hopelessness
and the, like,
and powerlessness.
dismay and, like, the constant nonstop barrage, that's, like, a fucking tactic.
It is a total
It's
tactic.
like, wear you out, make you be like,
Absolutely.
oh my god, like, how long is this shit going on?
Absolutely.
It's recording?
It is. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so enough on that.
We do also have to talk about, unfortunately, these goofy ass white boys in Virginia.
Do we have to?
It happened, and fuck y'all. I honestly,
we do have to. No, we absolutely
but
do.
I personally, yesterday when all that shit was coming out, I was interestingly enough not even having like a full emotional response to it. I was more like just annoyed and exhausted. I'm like, you fucking children. Like, bro, y'all got tiki torches from fucking Big Lots, and y'all think, like, really?
So what? So, it was one of those things where there are certain things on the internet where I already know it's just nonsense.
Sure.
So I'm like, let me not go too far into it. But what was there a KKK rally, or was this just a white supremacy rally?
A little bit of both.
I saw like a photo of some like white dudes with tiki torches.
So that was like an organization where like white men were like lamenting their oppression in the society. So they put together a tiki torch rally. And I really don't know like what they were getting at, but they were very fucking angry. And they shut down a college campus.
Which college campus?
UVA in Charlottesville, Virginia.
They shut it down how?
They just madness.
Okay. Well.
And then the following day,
they were like.
Then they're like, you know, the fucking white knights and the KKK and all their like regalia and shit like came through, and that's when shit got violent and wild.
So what? It's like I have so. That's where this is my inner monologue on camera is like. So what did they? What oppression are they? What did they think they? And then I'm just like, I have too many questions, and I know that there are not enough answers, and so sure. I just at a certain point feel like, why bother?
Why?
But that's a whole mess. What the fuck is up with that?
I don't know. It's like the culmination of this like troll politic that like the right has been fucking working on since like Sarah Palin days. Like
Ooh.
Just as like random, so far right, like so averse to like fact or reason shit. Like this is like the child of that.
It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I think what's more annoying for me is like all the like white people who are like, where is this coming from? Like, love wins, don't fight hate with hate. Like, bitch, like someone died yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who does it benefit to like have a civil discourse with them when we're facing something that's as uncivil as like white boys with tiki torches and white supremacy in general?
Well, I mean, I think it's an excellent question, and it's like, is there a discourse available?
Sure.
You know, like what are the, so, you know, people talk about like dialogue, you know, and dialogue is like one of the, it's like a pillar of Buddhist practice. It's like,
sure.
You have to be able to dialogue with people. Otherwise, shit like this happens.
Yeah.
So the question I have is like, how a dialogue seems so impossible, you know, like who's dialoguing and when and where and about what and who's facilitating and like, you know, it's like, yes, you know, violence, you can't combat violence with violence. The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. And also, civil discourse is not made available, you know?
Sure.
It's not made available.
Yeah.
And what does it even look like? You know, like what does dialogue in terms of like, what would a dialogue look like?
The dialogue would have looked like if you would have like had some balls about you and called out your stupid ass uncle, father, cousin at Thanksgiving 6 years ago before he got radicalized enough to run his fucking car into someone. That's where the dialogue was. So after that shit's already happening, you cannot then come back to people who are like under literal attack and be like, wait, let's talk this out. No, bitch.
Right.
Grow up. You know?
I really do. That's, you make an...
I said grow some balls, which is problematic, and I do want to acknowledge that. It was just, I was on a roll.
Yeah, I understand.
So.
I understand. Yeah, that's really real.
Yeah. So that's your civil
You know,
dialogue.
that's something to chew on because I have been having, I mean, this is like, anyway, sirens. Maybe we should wait until these pass.
This is just how fucking real this podcast is, though.
Like, okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're in the trenches. So.
I can't. That's something that's been coming up for me around silence when people say problematic things because it's really difficult to like gracefully slide in your social politics with family. You know, like someone in my family said something problematic about a trans woman the other day, and I was like,
no, though. Does it have to be graceful, though? Or is that a false narrative?
It doesn't have to be graceful. And I have learned from experience that the more graceful it is, the more likely I am to be heard. So I aim for gracefulness because I feel like that is what helps me to be received.
Sure. Like you don't want to like start a shouting match because then like no one else, whatever. However, if that's your response to it, then that's valid.
True.
Because the anger is valid. valid.
True.
But yeah,
True.
I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, the anger's, and I think the challenge is like, how do you come back from that angry conversation and be like, you know,
love you, girl.
Love you, girl. Like, didn't mean to, sorry I yelled.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, but I did. Okay, what else?
Truly, I think that was it for
this week.
Yeah.
That's a lot for this week already, honestly.
It is.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Closing thoughts? Joyce, what is it? Sharing, no. I was going to say sharing of joys and concerns that they used to do at the end of church, but then I was like, that was the beginning of church. You see how well I paid attention. Was it the end?
Here we are.
Okay,
they ain't do that at my church, girl, but that's tight.
I mean, how do you close out?
In some, don't be stupid as fuck. Don't be a white supremacist. Don't be a neo-Nazi. And don't be apologetic around them.
What else could I say?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye, love you guys. This is our test run video podcast. Whatever.
What is it? Video podcast. I've been saying visual podcast.
Visual podcast.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Like a Beyonce visual album.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
After our mentor.
This is Lemonade.